worked on the most in the bye week to shore up on your defense after getting 4 weeks of play, getting to study what you guys are doing right and doing wrong?
I think for us, just backing wise, just a lot of fundamental technique stuff. You talk about eye discipline downfield, then just some, coverage stuff where we're working together, some 3-over-2 stuff, just making sure we're on the same page, working well together versus different route concepts. Just back to day one. That's, you get so caught up when you're in the season and you're working specifically on an opponent. When you have that bye week, you get a chance to take a step back and just truly focus on those everyday fundamentals and techniques. And thought we had a good opportunity to do that last week Wednesday and Thursday. Then obviously today we came out and focused on North Carolina today, then had a little Sunday walkthrough with them as well.
How have you felt about how your safety group has embraced the fundamentals of what you've been trying to teach them, making sure, hey, we're in the right spots, we're not leaving open gaps in our defense?
Yeah, so far from that standpoint, I think Donovan's done a good job of just being in position. When you talk about run fits and stuff like that, of being able to make plays that come to him. There's some still stuff, I think cleanup-wise from a pass standpoint, where we need to make some more plays with the ball in the air, if that's finishing on the ball, or just being cleaner in coverage with how we are on receivers and attacking receivers through the reception area and that. So there's some things to still clean up from that standpoint, but at the end of the day, we're always trying to get better, and we're always focused to try to grow every single day.
Cruz obviously had a great summer.
Yeah.
How has he progressed now that the games are being played week after week?
He's good. When you look at it, I think Cruz came out against Kent State, had mid-20s from a rep count. Then he was in the teens. The next 2 games against West Virginia, which he had a huge interception before the half to stop their drive in our Delta package. Then he played, in the mid-teens against, Cincinnati. Then last game against Youngstown, he had 42 snaps. So the goal was to hopefully have Cruz from 70 to 90 reps by the time we hit conference play, and right now we got him at 84 reps. So I think we did a good job of doing that, getting him in there, getting him up to speed, and now you'll see more of him in this first half and throughout this game. I thought he did a good job last week against Youngstown State, made a few tackles, and I think he's made the most of his opportunities when they've been presented. So when he's been at the point of action or contact, he's made plays when it's come to those moments.
How many of those reps are with the base?
With base, oh my gosh, I wish I knew exactly. I would say out of 84 reps, I would probably say 50 have been in base defense. 50 to 55 would be my guess. Would be right in that range, probably 55.
He's progressing the way you like him.
Yeah, 100%. I think Cruz is moving along very well right now. I think he's doing well. I thought he came out, had a good practice today, had some good physical finishes, something we're really harping on, how we punch the pockets, how we hook and swat, being strong and violent on our finishes, and I thought he had a few good ones today in our 7-on-7 and our team sessions today.
He'll have to play more with PJ being out for this first half, but can you see him just working himself into the rotation and making even more of a 4-man rotation than what you guys have?
We'll see. At the end of the day, it's all about opportunity. And PJ's still going to have his opportunities to be in the game come that second half, but I look forward to seeing, and we look forward to seeing what Cruz can do as a program as he gets that opportunity on Saturday. He'll be playing field and boundary safety. He'll play both safeties, and I know he's more than up to the task. I know he's excited, and like I said, throughout these first 4 games, when he's had chances, he's made the most of those chances. So we all look forward to seeing how he does this Saturday.
Where you've seen Hampton a few times, you've had to prepare for him. Anything different with him this year or new with him?
He's a good running back. And we faced a few throughout the years, but seeing him last year, he's 6 foot 220, and you got to step all the way on his toes and run your feet on those tackles, all right, and shoot those arms and bring those hips with you, because you start diving in that, he's going to run right through your tackles. You tackle too high, he's going to run through your tackles. He's very physical with his stiff arm. He's a good running back. He's patient with good vision and can get vertical when that hole opens up. So we got to do a good job defensively, like I say, getting all the way in on the cylinder, running our feet, shooting our arms and hips, then at the same time our attack angles and how we all fly to the ball, okay? Because at the end of the day, missed tackles will happen. That's the reality of football. All right, I don't care what college game you put on. It happens, but now we got to have that second, third, fourth guy flying in there as well to clean those things up, okay? But yeah, we had some tackling circuits today, and we focused on that, and individual as well as a secondary today.
There's also whereas Hampton's dangerous on the ground, but he also I think has 17 most yards out of screen passes
Yes.
of anyone in the country right now. What do you the safeties typically I thought of the guys that protect the back part of it, but how does your group contribute to needing to get up in that mix and blow those plays up as well?
Yeah, you guys have been around for a while. We don't just protect the back, and we're aggressive now. When we see those things, we're getting down vertical, we're fitting all pass lanes, vertical run lanes, stuff like that. So, based on the coverage, there will be times where, when certain things occur that we'll be down there ready to fit it up. So they're a very good screen team. When you look at it, they do a good job between the screens with the running backs as well as with their wide receivers. They do a very good job in getting those O-linemen out. That's been something that's been emphasized and watched that we have to prepare for, because like you say, I think he's third on the team when it comes to receptions as well this year. So they like to get him touches out of the backfield. I mean, he had 29 or 30 carries against Duke, as well as 5 or 6 catches as well. So they're finding different ways to get him the ball and create opportunities to get that ball in space as well.
It seems like Carolina's able to plug in a new quarterback, some new skill guys, every couple of years, even a new offensive coordinator, and still keep scoring as much. As what kind of allows them to do that?
I guess it'd be recruiting. I mean, they've done a good job of, they went from Trubisky, I can't remember the quarterback that was in there in 18, then you had Sam Howell in 19, 20, 21, then you had Drake May. So right there you see 3 draft pick quarterbacks right there. Then they've had a plethora of receivers throughout the years. I think 5 or 6 receivers drafted as well in the last 5 cycles. So they've done a good job from that standpoint. They got another guy on the outside on Green that's a very talented football player, as well as those 2 tight ends that have some good catches. I think it's Nesbitt, number 18, downfield. He's had some good catches, a very good athlete that they'll use and flex him out as well. So, from that standpoint, they've done a good job recruiting, and, they throw the ball around.
When you look at the defense overall, have you guys used the Delta less so far this season than maybe you have in the past? I know Cincinnati and West Virginia run the ball a lot. Maybe that was part of it, but
yeah, the game. You look at the game and all these analytics and all this stuff of going for it, 4 downs. So now there's just been less opportunities from that standpoint. Maybe when you're across the 50 or certain situations, where people are keeping us off the field, or we feel it's safer to be in base, or whatever it may be. We've still used it. I'd be lying to you if I knew the numbers of last year or the year before of how much we were in Delta, but it does feel like I think we got 35 reps of Delta this year. So I'd have to see last year's numbers to see what it is, but it does feel a little bit, that has gone down.
So when you see like a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 close to midfield, you can't just assume they're shooting for 12 yards.
And at the same time, too, these teams run tempo, right? So when you get in Delta and we bring guys out there and, that package that we bring, sometimes guys like to go tempo. So that changes where, being able to adjust and send guys out there, you're not able to do that. So there's different levels of things that go into it of not being out there as much, if that's the case.
As a coach yourself, what's the benefit of having a veteran presence of guys like Javon, Donovan, and PJ this season? How have you seen the performance so far on the field?
It's good from a maturity standpoint of just your approach when it comes to meetings, expectations. Like as a coach, you don't have to sit here and fight for like, this is what the standard is, this is what it's supposed to be. Like at the end of the day, when I walk in my office 30 minutes before meetings, they're going to be in there ready to go because that's what's been said and that's the pace of that room. And just when it goes to the work and everything out there. Now at the same time too, I look for these guys as we get to conference play and looking for us to tune it up a notch too. It's great being veteran and having snap counts and everything, but now we got to take it up a few levels as we get into conference play this week.
Chris, you get the last one.
As the assistant head coach, you're not just coaching the safeties, you're observing the whole team, you're contributing as other guys are as well. But how have you seen this defense, your players take on, hey, the coaching that you guys have given them, you guys have played 2, Power 5 opponents or Power 4, whatever the power is nowadays.
I still say Power 5.
Yeah, right. It's natural. But you guys have faced those 2 teams, you needed comebacks against those 2 teams where you've given up enough points. How have you seen your guys embrace the challenge of being to show that they can do that from start to finish versus just coming up in the clutch late?
I think when you look at it, you just talk about defensively, but if you look at it holistically as a program, you look at that offense, Cincinnati, we're down 21. I think there was 30 seconds left in that 3rd quarter, and they scored a touchdown. And just the complimentary football that went into that 4th quarter to win that football game. Then you look at West Virginia, being down that. Then we had a big stop, put them in 3rd and long. Then the offense goes back down and scores, but we were still down 14. And you just look at that as a whole, team-wise, not just defense, because at the end of the day, the offense could have been like, defense isn't getting a stop. The defense could have said this about the offense, but at the end of the day, the kids put their head down and they just worked and they just kept going. They didn't point any fingers, they didn't do any arguing on the sideline. They just put their head down and kept working. So as you look at that from a program, that says a lot about your team. Then you go into Youngstown State the very next week after playing 2 Power 4 programs, all right, and it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different playing Youngstown compared to those 2 games, which were rivalry games. All right, you got West Virginia, the backyard brawl, and you still got an old Big East opponent in Cincinnati. And for our kids to go out there and win that game by 50 plus, I think that even says more about them too and their character and who they are as a team and players. So that's been exciting just to see as you go through this non-conference play in those first 4 games. And like you say, now it's different levels to this now. Now we're going into conference play with North Carolina, who we faced for many years, and we got a tough challenge as we go down to Chapel Hill and play them at noon down there. Probably gonna be in the mid-80s and a little bit hot down there. So we got some challenges to overcome next from this standpoint. But I think as a program, we face adversity pretty well in these first few weeks.
Thank you, Coach, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.